the case of Natasha, I think it's crystal clear that this is just personal vendetta. Because I am not absolving Natasha, so she must provide the evidence she says she has for sexual harassment. And if she doesn't provide it, I will keep hounding her for that. But after a case had gone to court, the time for the suspension was over. After you had tried to take Senator Natasha out of the Senate through a recall process that failed, somebody will have expected that the interest of the people that she's representing will be paramount, and you allow her to come back and serve despite the fact that you have a case in court. But you are using that as a shield to block her just because she has not said sorry, right? So why must we have a society where they must always say sorry to some people because they feel like they are God? You see, and that's why I say to a large extent, we don't practice democracy. It's a demonstration of grace we're dealing with here.
Senator Natasha Udwaha. Now, the Senate, I think it was the clerk of the House, has now issued a statement that there are issues in court, and that those issues in court, appeals in the Court of Appeal, relating to the suspension of Senator Natasha Udwaha on March 6, that those issues are sub judice. However, in the course of the litigation and all of that, I think it was Justice Banta who ruled on July 7 that the Senate also has a responsibility to look at its rules. Because if you have a senator representing a people and then you suspend her for 180 days, which is the length of time for representation of the people, the judge, speaking of it, said, look, you have to look at that particular side of the matter. But of course, there are other cases in court, which the clerk of the National Assembly is now relying upon. So you have a senator from Kogi Central who has been suspended for what they called gross misconduct since March 6. And now we're in September. The 6-month suspension expired September 4. You now say, well, she cannot still come back because the matters in court will have to be determined. However, now the point is this, that the people who are suffering are the people that she's representing, the people of Kogi Central. They've been denied representation. And Mrs. Udwaha is saying that, look, there are issues. There are things she wants to pursue. Now she has not been given that opportunity, now that they are saying there's still a case in court. The third point, critical point in that regard, is that the Senate is in recess. The Senate being on recess is not going to return until September 23. So whatever all this conversation is all about, nothing can happen before September 23. What may well happen post 2020, September 23, is that the leadership of the Senate must come together and then say, well, we have this matter before us, and then we look at it.
Finally, on Senator Natasha Udwaha, I believe that under this administration, one point I'd like to mention, if I have to pick all the points I want to say this morning, is what's happened in the interim? What happened to the investigation? We cannot have a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come out to make strong allegations against the Senate president, and then we sweep it under the carpet and we're focusing on technicalities. We demand that the investigation panels that were would be set up to dig deep and find out what really transpired between the two parties, and of course with Senator Natasha Udwaha presenting evidence and the Senate president also presenting himself for investigation should happen. This is important for our democracy, and I just wanted to mention that in all of this, let's not forget the critical aspects of these issues.